How are you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Very well, thanks. And how are things going with, let's see, the goals from our last visit were, do you remember what some of them were from our last visit? I think, well, you've been working on your eating plan. And
Yep.
how is that going?
I am up to 16 pounds off.
Wonderful. That's fabulous. And how have you been feeling?
Most of the time, really good. I did nachos today, and it's making me tired. When I do more carbs, I notice a difference now because I've been on more high protein than high carb.
Excellent. Yep, that's true. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. Do you remember when you asked me for more information on hormones?
Yes.
Okay, so I thought that today we could talk about hormones, where hormones come from, and what that interaction is with everything else in your body. So I was talking to Andrew, my son, today, and we were talking about how everything is everything. And we really broke it down because we were talking about chemicals in your body and how everything in our body is a chemical broken down. The cells in our body, the molecules in our body are all broken down to chemicals, and so are the foods that we eat. So when you eat carbohydrates, those break down into certain chemicals, and those chemicals interact with things in your body, and your body absorbs and hooks up with the things that help it, and then the extra stuff it doesn't know what to do with. That's where in some cases it causes you to have fatigue. So I sent you information on the endocrine system, okay? And there are several glands in the endocrine system that release hormones. And according to what foods we eat and how those foods break down, those chemicals in the foods attach to and work with certain glands in the endocrine system, and they cause the release of hormones in certain things. And then I also sent you an article to help you understand a little bit better. So just pulling it out of what I had sent to you, and you could either read along or you can read it over again. The different glands release the hormones, and they affect your metabolism. They affect growth and development, emotions and moods, different parts of our reproductive system, our sleep, and our blood pressure. So some of the things that you're dealing with. So tell me what your question was about hormones.
I think when I first asked about it, it was if the hormones were making me heavy, or were my hormones not level or producing, or I had no idea what it should be.
Okay, so when you go to your doctor, they've got you on thyroid medication, correct?
Yes.
And your thyroid is one of your endocrine glands, and that gland does release hormones that relate to your metabolism. So yes, your answer to your question, does it affect your weight? It most definitely does, depending on whether it's releasing too much hormone or not enough. So do you know the medication that they have you on, if it's causing your thyroid, if they're trying to make it release more or release less? Do you know that?
That I do not know.
Okay.
I'm on levotiroxetine,
Okay.
and I think it was about a year ago they reduced me from 100 milligrams down to 88.
Okay. So
But
that,
he never. I don't know if I'm over or under producing.
okay, so that's something that I'll look at that medication for you and look that up and see what that, so for next time, that will be something else that I look at. It also, excuse me, the endocrine endocrine system, also one of the glands, well, there's 3 glands in the brain, but the hypothalamus and the pituitary both release hormones that are mood affectors. So I know that you're also on medication for moods, so that affects those also.
Okay.
So, but you did mention that you've been feeling better because of the things that you're eating. You're eating more protein.
That and also my mood medication has been reduced too.
And that may have coincided with the change in your diet. Yeah. So see how everything connects. So the 5 aspects of health that we talk about are the physical, which is your physical body, your emotional, which is the hypothalamus and the moods, the thyroid working toward metabolism in the moods, so nutrition, that's a 3rd one. So the things that we eat, it relates to our brain, how our brain reacts, how it triggers the brain to release different hormones to balance things. Because our body has 2 things that it really always tries to do. It puts us in a survival mode, and that survival mode wants us to be in homeostasis or balance. So when all 5 of ours, the environment also, and we talked about how you're doing really well at work, your environment there is a good environment, so that's a wonderful thing. That's helping you with your moods and all. And then spirituality, which we're going to work a little bit more on. That was kind of a goal of yours, again, to get back to the devotionals in the morning. So all of it works together to help your body get into homeostasis or balance. Okay, so do you have any questions about that balance or that homeostasis?
Not at this time.
Okay, so from what we're talking about, what do you think for yourself, how you're feeling? What other things might you want to work on? I know we touched on a couple. What would you like to, for our next meeting, try to hone in on? Maybe we can set something up now so that you can work on it, and the next time we can see how that's going.
I would like to increase my walking or bike riding. It's just like today the temperature was 104, so it's not very conducive. Maybe, I won't be able to do that right away until it cools off.
Mm-hmm. Can you think of anything that you might want to do inside the house that would be some form of exercise?
Not that I can think of.
You don't have, because you don't have a bike or a Nordic track or anything. How about video? How about something on YouTube?
I would have to check into that.
Okay, would you be willing to do something like that? Is
Yeah.
there a time of day that you might be able to make 10 minutes, or they talk about 30 minutes of exercise or even 20. Is there a time of day that you could set aside that amount of time that's logical?
I guess if I got up earlier, I usually get up at 5:40, so if I got up a little bit earlier and maybe did the exercise and then got ready for work, because I usually leave the house by 6:30,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm back home by 5.
Is that
So
something?
by the end of the day, my brain is kaput.
Okay, so you're too tired at the end of the day. Is that something you might be willing to try this week, a couple of days, to see how that works out?
I'll see what I can do.
And then at our next meeting, we can talk about whether that worked out well or not, and then we
Okay.
can make a shift of that.